Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, or should I say Angela's Angel. And on this topic, as you guys can see from the title, I am going to be talking about the narcissist and their generational curse. The narcissist generational curse, right? This is a spell. This is a spell that this person cannot break. That is very difficult for them to break. And even with ourselves, right? We're not aware of certain things until tragedy, until trauma happens, until a narcissist, they come into our life like aliens. They are aliens to our environment. They're not even supposed to be around you. You're not even supposed to be, you weren't even supposed to allow this person into your world, right? You weren't even supposed to allow this person into your world. When you are aware of the generational curses in your own family, and you learn to forgive the narcissistic people in your life, because even though a lot of things could have happened, you learned from each and every one of them. You learned to understand what made them the way that they are, even if you didn't understand it at the time when the narcissist was instilling hate into you. The narcissist wasn't just looking down on you. They were looking down on your family, your friends. You have to think about it. Why is someone coming around you to attack not just you and destroy who you are as a person? They come into your life destroying your world, your reputation, your relationships. Why would someone come into your world with that much energy, right? Like, how do you have that much energy to be around someone that you do not like, or someone that you're not attracted to, or someone that you're not serious with, or someone that you really truly don't want to build with? See, the narcissist is filled with excuses. They have sob stories, but you can put them in position. You can give them all that you have, and it still won't be enough, and you won't be able to understand. And you won't be unable to understand how someone could not appreciate good deeds, right? For example, I remember the narcissists, they didn't have AAA, and they were stranded because their car had broken down. And of course, as an empath, I came to the rescue, right? I was like, oh, I used up all my AAA opportunities. I think you only get like 3 or something like that, or 4, when you have the minimum of times that you can, call AAA a year. I had used up all of mine, and I still managed to get someone that was close to me to use their AAA, because when I told them, hey, when you got people in your corner, right, the narcissist hates that. They're envious of even that, because they might even feel like they can't call on anyone. They're calling on you. You got to think about that. That's what makes it so sick when you're dealing with these people, right? Because they're calling on you, or depending on you, or expecting loyalty from you. They don't want you to talk to certain people. They don't want you to be around certain people. They don't want you to have a life outside of them. And then when you don't have a life outside of them, they try to have a life outside of you to leave you in the dust. But they needed you, right? In order to feel important, in order to feel like they're finally exploiting someone to get where they want to be. They want to break that generational curse, but they're willing to do anything. They're willing to use people, to exploit people, to break that generational curse. They're like, I'm not going down without a fight. I'm not going to end up like my father, even though I've basically done the same things he has done, but I'm fully aware of it. So the narcissist, they make a lot of mistakes, and then they become fully aware of all their mistakes, and they feel like there's no way to right their wrongs. And they get to the point where they feel like, hey, the next person I run across, the next good person that feels fucking sorry for me, I'm taking advantage of them, because no one feels sorry for me. I had it work, and to them, it's like I need to pick the perfect victim. Someone who didn't have a father in their life, someone who their family neglects them, or, someone who doesn't have confidence in themselves, someone who has more than me, but they don't appreciate it, right? They're like searching for the right target because they feel like at the end of the day, no matter how much they break you, they feel like once you heal, you're going to learn from the situation and you're going to get back to who you used to be. And even if you're not back to how you used to be, they almost feel like you're going to learn from this and you're going to bounce back. Some people don't bounce back. The narcissist destroys them. But you have to think, in the narcissist's mind, they're not really doing anything to you. They're the victims. They're living in another reality. They're not even supposed to be in your reality. The fact that they can't empathize with you, the fact that they don't see what they're doing is wrong, that lets you know that they're living in another reality outside of you. They can't come meet you halfway. They can't empathize with you because they don't understand you and they don't want to understand you. They come with an attitude of, self-importance. Like, I'm just, I'm more important than you. If I had your life, I would do this. I remember the narcissists many times, they would say, I would just suck up to your family. I would just do this. I would just, I would just go along with everything. I wouldn't call them out on their bullshit. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. But they'll say this to you after they've pissed you off, after they've brought up traumas from your past that you shared with them in secrets, because they shared things with you and you almost felt like, as an empath, because you're trying to make that person feel like you're there for them. You're exposing parts of yourself, not knowing these parts are of yourself that you're sharing with them. They're going to exploit them because they feel like, oh, okay, so you feel trauma. You feel like you went through something. Well, I went through more than you. And then they'll start talking about your family. Oh, they only got to where they got to in life because someone helped them. Everybody gets help. Everybody, isn't a better, oh, my family didn't have that. My parent didn't have that. I didn't choose to be in this world. My parents, it's not my fault they made the wrong choice. It's not my fault my mom married the wrong person. It's not my fault that my dad was a deadbeat. I don't like my life. I don't like my reality. I live through other people's realities because when I pick at their weakness, I feel like if I could break you down, how come I'm not strong enough to take your position in life? If anything, I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you because I broke you down. But when they approach you differently. They approach you with a mask. They approach you as, someone that they want to be around, someone that they respect. You know, they come at you as if they like you, right? They're laughing with you, they're joking with you. You don't know that the same person that you're dealing with, you're not even supposed to be dealing with them. They're living in another reality. And that's what I realized with the narcissist. It's like, you know, they're living on the east side, I'm living on the west side. It doesn't really seem too far because it's 10, 15 minutes apart. But they're living in a whole reality outside of mine. We're witnessing the same things. We're going to the same stores. Our neighborhoods are close. But it's a whole nother reality. You know, a whole nother way of living, of doing things. There's certain things that in your reality you just don't do. For example, right? They can say your family is this, your family is not that smart, your family gets help, you get all the help. Oh, your family, they're narcissists. They'll point out that there's people in high positions that are narcissists, right? But there are certain things, right? They feel like, oh, people in high positions, they do diabolical shit too. The narcissist feels like they do worse things than me. So why should I care? Right? But the narcissist is very sloppy. The narcissist is very sloppy. The narcissist is aware of the generational curse. They're aware of the generational curse that you're going to go through as well. They feel like they're your karma. They feel like they're your karma because there had to be something that went wrong for you not to be able to see that they have no value to you. They come off as, I have value. You know, I'm going to build with you. They come at you with a facade, right? But even people in high positions, when they find people that they can do business with or people that they can depend on, right? Even if they're narcissists, like the narcissist would point out like, oh, you know, all the narcissistic people, and they're like, oh, I understand because I got narcissists in my family. They're trying to bring me down. They want me to end up like them. They're fearful. They're in fear the whole time. And you can sense the fear. That's why you connect to them. But you don't know they're going to bite you like a snake. You don't know that. You're thinking, oh, they're different. You know, they're different. You know, you almost feel like you can trust them sometimes even than your own family because you're like, you're right, narcissist. My family, you know, they are narcissists. Every person that my family talks to, all their friends that they connect with in high places, you know, they only respect them because those people that they're friends with are people that they can do business with, are people that will do favors for them. But see, the narcissist will sit there and say, your family gets all the help. You know, they got people, they got connections with people. That's why they're mad. They're mad. And you'll start thinking, you know, you're right. My family is not emotional. My family is all about money. You know, you start to think what makes the narcissist in my narcissistic family, and what makes them so different, right? The narcissist wants to confuse you because they're stuck in their own generational curse And they know you're stuck in your generational curse, but they want to be a part of your world. That's why they're around you. Why would someone that does not like you want to be around you? And it's not until you heal, right, that you realize you're different from the narcissist, because they keep repeating the same patterns with different people. They keep monkey branching, and you feel like you don't have to do that. You feel like you would rather work for what you want or what you have. And if you don't have the things that you want, you know that you don't have them because you're just not working hard enough. You're not using your mind enough. You're not making any excuses. You're not putting it on other people. You know, you might feel like certain people had a better head start than you, right? You might feel like certain people had a head start, you know, but it was because of the knowledge that was passed on to them from their family, from generations. It took generations for them to get to where they're at. And they're not just going to help you out as a stranger. And that's what the narcissist hates the most. They hate people that won't help them elevate. They're like, oh, you won't help me elevate, but you'll go and help other people. They feel like, oh, your family is selfish, your family is greedy, your family is this, that, right? And you'll turn on people because you think the narcissist is an empath. You know, you think, oh, they're waking me up. They're allowing me to see how my family really is. You're right. They only care about money. They only, you know, if you don't have a certain type of job, or you know, they're very, you know, they talk down on certain people they wouldn't befriend. Everyone they befriend, they have ties to them for a reason, right? The narcissist wants to be a part of that. They want to be a part of that world, but they cannot be a part of that world. And that's why they force themselves in relationships with people and do the most. Befriend people that they don't really want to be friends with. Befriend people that they think they're smarter than, but they just want to be around them. I just remember, you know, times where I would bring the narcissist around, let's say my family, and then later on they're like, oh, your family has your family has a big house. Oh, you know, and next thing I know, they're talking to me about, you know, keeping up with something my cousin posted online. And I'm like, how you know what my cousin posted online? Oh, we're Facebook friends. When did that happen? Oh, you know, I'm gonna see if your cousin will help me with some music I'm trying to record. They have all the tools. They go to good schools. They have all the tools, right? And I'm looking at this person like this, a grown-ass man talking to my little cousins, right? And, you know, to me, it was like he moved in like a chameleon. Like he moved right. He moved in and he was demanding what he wanted already, like right away, right? The narcissist wants to break the generational curse, but they don't have the fucking tools to do it. That's what I learned from being with a narcissist and from the narcissistic people that I once looked up to, or like, even with like your own family, right? They might have a lot, but they become greedy. And they become greedy, and you're like, why are you so greedy? And you have a lot than others, right? You see the narcissism in your own family. You see the narcissism in the narcissist family. Everybody fucking hates their fucking realities. Everybody has a sob story. Everybody has, you know, a point of, they get to a point where they're lacking knowledge. And when they lack knowledge, they get to a point where they're so exhausted mentally that they just are incapable of retaining any more knowledge because they're so focused on what's happening around them or what people are saying, or they're focused on gossiping, or they're becoming too comfortable with their lives that they just don't want to grow anymore. And that's where you'll see narcissistic parents and family members attack you, because they feel like, hey, in my generation, we didn't get to go to college. In your generation, we worked hard so that you can go to college, right? And then they could try to break you down because they didn't go to college, and they want you to be stuck in that generational curse. They don't want you to evolve because they feel like they're not going to get nothing out of it. And then you're like, oh, wow, these people are greedy. They're low down, just like the narcissist in my life, just like the narcissistic family. You start to see that everybody's just really about themselves and people are wearing masks. And the narcissist feels like, well, if everyone's wearing a mask, I should be able to outsmart and manipulate people to get to where I want to be, because they hate themselves anyway, or because they're greedy. So the narcissist tries to find flaws in other people, but what's crazy is that the same flaws they try to look at in other people, they have those flaws themselves. If not, they have it to a diabolical level, right? To a diabolical level. Like a wild animal. This is a predator. Once the predator has targeted you, it's not going to stop coming for you until it hurts you, This is why some prey, prey animals, they just stay frozen and they say, okay, go ahead, eat me. Or I'm gonna run and live another day. But you might sense me, you might sniff me out and come back for me later on. You might run across me again later on. So the narcissist comes into your life because of their generational trauma, and you connect to them through your generational trauma. But your whole thing is, you're supposed to break that generational curse so that you can evolve. So the trauma that you go through is trauma that your family and the people around you have already went through, and now all that's happening is that you're experiencing it too. And you're experiencing the suffering and the traumas of the people, your family, your mother, your parents. You're experiencing all the trauma. You're seeing all the different perspectives based on those relationships that you're having with the narcissistic people that you're attaching yourself to, that or have attached themselves to you. And you will keep running across narcissistic people that are gonna try you until you wake the hell up and you see that these people have nothing to lose and all to gain from you, from your reality. So these people make you relive certain traumas that others in your family have went through, that you might not be aware of it until it's over. And that's how you kind of start to, that's how you learn to forgive and start forgiving your family or your parents, or, if you went through it with certain people, or certain people neglected you, or certain people destroyed themselves instead of, giving you love or attention and the things that you wanted, or any basic needs that you feel like you needed. So when you're living in a different reality, the narcissist targeted you because they want to be, whether you want to accept it or not, they want to be a part of your world, the world that you're in. They're learning you, they're studying you. That's all they've ever done with every supply that they've ever been with. And while they're with you, they know how to point you out because of your goodness. but they're trying to monkey branch to the type of person that they actually want. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people will say, you know, narcissists don't feel anything, they just use people. And that's not true. This is someone that only cares about themselves. And it's not that they're not incapable of caring about anybody. It's that they only care about themselves. They can only experience they don't care about your reality unless they're gaining from it, right? So they're judging your reality. They're judging the people around you, but they still want to be a part of your world. If they feel like they can get in with your family and your friends and things like that, you know, they're around you, you know, and they're making up stories in their head. I can do this. I can do that. I can try to finesse the women in your family. If it doesn't work out with you, it might work out with your sister. It might work out with your cousin. It might work out with your auntie or someone in your circle, your friend. These people are weird. They want to be in your reality so bad. They're obsessed. And they feel like you're going to rub some good energy on them. They feel like, you know, they're going to learn how your family and the people around you think and how the people around you act. And, you know, if this person is older and they're, you know, they have been going through their generational trauma and they still haven't broke out of that generational trauma, they're like a thief in the night. So to them, it's like, okay, I can start all over with the new supply. I can learn, you know, I can learn from the new supply. I can know what's going on in society. I can know how people are thinking. I can know what it is that people are doing to fit in. This is why the narcissist is constantly changing, right? They come around and now they're acting different. They're talking different. They're laughing different. They're mimicking people. They're saying certain things, right? They want to break that generational curse, but they're willing to sacrifice people. They feel like, hey, that's what this country is built on. It's built on blood. It's built on war and fighting, right? So they're willing to fight whoever, do whatever to people, exploit people, manipulate to get what they want. Not knowing that, you know, this is why they'll con people out of all of their life savings, even because they feel like if I could take everything from you, you know, I could be on your level, and really I could be better than you because I can use what you have to supply myself, and I could be better than you because I already feel like I'm better than you. And why is it that when the narcissist cons people and exploits people out of their life savings or their homes and things like that, why is it that time will pass by and now they're on to the next con? They're trying to find someone else to con again. Why is it that after they con someone, they don't just like live happily ever after? It's like they gotta keep conning, and the pattern just gets more and more diabolical, and it's almost like there's no coming down from it, because the only time they get a adrenaline rush is when they're exploiting someone. So now it's not about just breaking the generational curse. You became addicted to being a jealous, hateful, evil, wicked, low down type of person. You became addicted to the act itself, to the abuse itself, making you fall back into the same category of that generational curse that you're in. Meaning that you can try to get far, but you're always going to end up going back where you started. So this is why the narcissist goes after nice people, good people, because everybody else can see through them. Only good people are the ones who can't see through them. once you leave these type of people alone, it doesn't mean that you became bad, but you realize that as a good person, you became a target for bad people to exploit. So now you almost feel like you cannot be good. Or now you start to see why certain people in your family, they're not so loving, they're not so charming, and you almost start to feel like you can't judge them for their behavior, especially if they're not constantly trying to torment you, right? You got people in families that, yeah, they're not the nicest, but guess what? They're not fucking with you every day. They might gossip about you here and there, but guess what? They're not intentionally, they might subconsciously do it out of jealousy because you might be young, or you might have certain opportunities that they didn't have, and or they're just controlling, or they have certain beliefs or expectations, so they do things subconsciously. But the narcissist does these things consciously. They're on full attack mode consciously, right? They're constantly attacking you when it comes to, sorry you guys for the commercial. What's going on? Oh, I wanted to skip this, but I had to wait for the commercial. So why I want to talk about the generational curse is because I saw it, I experienced it, and I went through, like I said, I literally, everything that I feared becoming, I became. But I also realized when I became everything I didn't want to be, that is as far as the knowledge from my generation, came to, like I'm back where I started, right? And the difference between the past generation and me is that I was able to gain more knowledge than the past generation. So a lot of times, people are trying to control you because they're trying to protect you, not knowing that because you are out in the real world, and now they're slowly retiring. Now they've retired, or they're not out in the world experiencing all the changes, because the world is constantly changing. So you're gaining more information. So it's like the game is always the same, but then there's always going to be new obstacles to the game, and your opinion might not matter because certain people in your life are they're more worried about the control than actually learning who you are. So you feel like the people around you don't really know you, but it's because you're at a point where you're supposed to surpass them. So there's going to come a point where hey, I got to surpass the people around me because I've made it back to step one because I ran across narcissistic people. But you still have the advantage of the knowledge that was passed on to you from generations, right? So you realize all this, and you realize to let go of your traumas and things like that from the experiences that you deal with narcissistic people. But a lot of times, like I said, you attracted narcissistic people that a lot of times are very low vibrational. They were on a lower level than you. It just seemed like you just looked at them like you're equal, but they were living in a different reality from you. Meaning that, when the narcissist would talk, right? Oh, everybody gets help. Oh, your family. Oh, they're all narcissists. Oh, they help all each other out. Oh, they only care about themselves. They're saying all these things about people they don't even know. Sometimes when you try to bring certain awareness to them about things that they're speaking about things that they don't know about. They're jumping into conclusions. They're making assumptions about your family. And if you try to defend yourself, they get mad. They become enraged. That's what I used to find crazy. It's like, how are you going to tell me more about my own family than what I know about my family? So, yeah, they would say, oh, they get help. They got people. They got connections. This is why, this is why they're unstoppable. And they're mad. But what was crazy is that when the narcissist finally shows you their true colors, they're no different. They're just on a lower level. And they don't understand why they're not on the same level as your narcissistic family. Because even though they can say, oh, your family got help, guess what? Those friendships, those connections that they have with people, sometimes those connections are fake. Those are transactions. They might not like those people completely. They might feel like those people are useful to them for a reason. They know certain people that, could do a living trust. They know people at the DMV that's gonna, not charge them for certain fees. But guess what? They also have tools too. Hey, they work in finances. They can help you get a loan. So when they get help from people, the narcissist makes it seem like, oh, they get help. No, they don't just get help. It's a transaction. They're in a position to give back to that person. So the narcissist will make it seem like, oh, like your family and the people around you are just con artists. But it's a business. The narcissist world is a business. And guess what? The narcissist has nothing to fucking offer. So of course they're not gonna fucking get help when they don't have nothing to offer. And what's so crazy, right? What's so crazy is the narcissist would have like half of his family, right, is broke. His other side of his family got money, and he's like, oh, they don't deal with us. They think they're better and they're this, they're that. But then when I would come around, right, like one time, his uncle, he's like, oh, my uncle got his own business. He got money. He got this. He got that. And his uncle was moving, or no, his uncle was helping his sister move, which is his aunt. And she was moving into an apartment and she needed help moving some of her stuff. He had a truck, I had a car, and basically his uncle was like, can you guys come and help us move? I'll pay you and I'll take you out to go get something to eat. So we went to go help, but I didn't know about the paying part, right? I didn't know the uncle offered to pay us or anything. So the narcissist kept it a secret. The narcissist kept it a secret. How are you going to break a generational curse when you can't even look out for the people that are looking out for you? Meaning my family I might have narcissistic family. We might not agree. But guess what? When one of us needs help, or like if someone's stuck on the freeway, they're going to show up. I can call on somebody. We might not even get along. Because people, you have to come to a point where you realize that it's better to forgive, and that you can't change people. So to me, I never wanted to change anyone around me, but the narcissist was putting a lot of hate into me. And I'm gonna be honest with you. So now, after I lost my family and my friends and the people around me, I also blame myself. I felt like that was the biggest lesson for me, was, that I couldn't change people around me. Part of breaking the generational curse was for me to understand that, and take accountability for basically stepping outside of my family. So yeah, there's narcissists everywhere. You got narcissist family, but guess what? A lot of times, yeah, the people closest to you, yeah, those are the people that are going to hurt you. But guess what? Strangers, they will do you so much worse. They will do you so much worse than family, you know. And that's a fact, you know, from what I learned. So I realized, you know, in that moment, I said, this person wants to break like the generational curse in their family, but me from living in another reality, looking into his reality, right? I'm looking at, why wouldn't you tell me your uncle offered money to move, you know, your aunt's stuff around? He didn't even bother to tell me. So you're dishonest. There's a lot of people who are narcissists who put on a mask, and even they will pull over and help change a fucking tire or something and not charge you nothing because they like the way, you know, certain narcissists in different levels. It's not just about, you know, being worshipped or having this self-importance or making themselves look good and getting praise. Yeah, they'll do things and not really expect financial gain from you, but they like the way it made them look. They liked how they like to see the fact that you were grateful to them. You know, it made them feel good. And they might be a narcissist, but they did something. They did something, right? And it might have been because, like I said, they wanted the attention. But guess what? They had enough class to help you out, right? This is just from what I've experienced with the narcissists. This is what I'm just telling you from narcissistic people that are in my family and the people I've been around, because we all live in different realities, right? So yeah, there's narcissistic people that do good deeds. They fucking donate to the church. Like, you know, my grandmother donates thousands of dollars to the church and things like that. And sometimes they do things and manipulate things to get their way, yes. But when it's kind of like, how can I explain it? You know, like when the narcissist, they exploit you and then they justify their actions by saying, oh yeah, I lived with you rent free, but at least I cooked. Yeah, I cooked using food that you bought with your money, but at least I cooked, right? So they justify their actions, but it's on a lower level. So, you know, someone from a higher level might be like, you know, they might get you to do something for them. Hey, you know, they might get you to do something, or they might treat you kind of badly or something. They might not treat you the best, or your parents might not be emotionally there for you, or you feel like you can never talk to them and things like that. But they'll feel like, at least I bought you that new PlayStation, so they'll justify their actions, but in a different way, right? So what I noticed with the narcissist is that they were doing the same thing my family would do, which is they do stuff for you financially, or they'll put you through a good school or things like that, buy you a new car, you know, but then there's going to be a price to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is transactional, but it's on a level where you're not going to feel exploited the way the narcissist will exploit you, because they're on a lower level. So that's what I realized. I was like, oh, he tries to justify his actions, but it's on a very lower level. It's very low. And then he's wondering, like, why am I not on their level? Because you're petty. You're petty as hell, because you don't want to work for what you claim you want, and you don't have anything to offer nobody. That's why. So the narcissist will feel like, oh, I got all the knowledge in the world, I just ain't got the money, and that's why nobody respects me. What point is the knowledge? A lot of people have knowledge. If you're not doing anything, you're just manipulating people. What good is the knowledge that you have if you're not really even using it? Because you're only taking manipulative tactics, and you want to exchange goods with people, but you don't want to be fair. You know what I'm saying? Certain narcissistic people, not all narcissistic people will exploit you to the extent that certain narcissists will. Some of them aren't. Some of them are more fair than others, right? So I realized that, he was trying to justify his actions by not being real with me about his uncle, offering money for me to use my vehicle. And he feels like because he's helping this person move, I'm not supposed to get anything. But it's like, you're using my car. I should have got at least 20% or something. You know what I'm saying? But they justify their actions like, you got more than me. You got a nice car. You got this. You got that. So they justify their actions in order to gain from you. So, like I said, this is his uncle from his side of the family where they have, money, and they don't really talk to him. So he was coming around them, kissing their ass, and the uncle was feeling sorry for him. So he's like, you want to make some extra money? So you got people that are actually trying to help you who you say have more than you, just like you say my family has more than you and your family, right? But you got family members that are in good positions, and they're trying to help you out, and they're probably even testing you out. You're just so fucking dumb that you don't even get it. So eventually, by the time we were done moving everything, the uncle basically exposed everything. He's like, you guys, you know what he said? What was so crazy? This is how the uncle said it. He said, did he give you some of that money? And I was like, what money? And he said it in front of him, And he was like, oh, you didn't tell her, huh? Like the uncle almost knew he didn't tell me. Like, he knew he didn't tell me. For your uncle to know that, he already has a perception of you. Like, you're the type of motherfucker that makes excuses, and you're someone I can't really, like, your uncle probably wouldn't even trust you in his own house, because he's testing you out. If he really felt sorry for you and really wanted to help you out, he would put you in position. He got his own business. He would involve you in his business, in his line of business, right? But the fact that he doesn't put you in position is because he already sees something in you where he feels like it's not going to work out for the long run. So when the uncle said that, I was like, he kind of reminded me of my family, how like they be knowing shit, right? It's like how your narcissistic family will tell you you're dealing with the narcissist, and they'll tell you that man ain't good for you, that woman ain't good for you. They know before even meeting them sometimes, right? So he gave me that feeling like he already knew the narcissist was with the BS, right? So then, right, So the narcissist tried to make a joke out of it, and he was like, what? No, she didn't even help move anything. Right? She didn't even help move anything. He's making excuses because he feels stupid. And then the uncle said, yeah, but she drove over here for gas or something. That's what the uncle said, for gas or something, which is true. Like, that's crazy. That's wild. That whole situation, it just goes to show how greedy the narcissist is. They're like a fucking dog that is untrained, and they're looking for fucking snacks, and they only care about you or like you when you give them snacks. Like, they don't have no conscience or something. Like, they're not trained, they're not conscious. It's like, and then at the same time, they're thinking they're outsmarting you. But if you're smart enough to know that these people are wild animals, see, in the moment, you don't know what's happening. But when you come out of narcissistic relationships and you know how they are and how they're animalistic like that, it doesn't really surprise you. It's really shocking, really. And it kind of makes you feel like, how was I so stupid not to see these things? But it's because, you know, you were coming into your own awakening of things, right? You just had a lot of compassion and a lot of goodness inside of you, which is not a bad thing. You know, which is not a bad thing, because all this is doing is it's giving you balance. It's giving you balance. And the narcissist is nowhere close to having the type of balance that you have, because you've already broke generational curses that the narcissist hasn't broke. And those generational curses that you've already broken, the narcissist is mad at you for that. They don't respect it. They feel like they feel like I was able to manipulate you, so, you know, you haven't broken any generational curses. But in actuality, your family, the generations before you, have already broken certain curses. You're just under a spell, and then once you break that spell, okay, once you break that spell, if that makes sense, once you break the spell, everything that you've been taught your whole life, everything that was passed on to you, after you go through what you go through, you break the curse, and then you finally understand why certain values and morals and boundaries are important. Because certain people already taught you these things. You just started going against them, because while you're with the narcissist, you start falling in love and lust with this person to the point where you're like, boundaries don't matter. You literally go crazy. You go, you know, Cocoa Puffs for the narcissist, right? But once you you know, come into consciousness, everything makes sense, and you're like 30 steps in front of you. So you literally go 30 steps back, and then now you go like 100 steps forward, because your generation has already broken these things. You just had to understand the struggle of the people before you so that you can actually make it to the next level, right? The narcissist doesn't want to help, you know, the narcissist doesn't want you to get to the next level. This is why they make it hard for you. This is why they get you pregnant. This is why they do a lot of the shit that they do, because they want you to be like them, and they want to drift off into the sunset and make you think that they broke those generational curses by manipulating people. But they're always going to go back to where they started, because they didn't work hard for it. And even if they end up in situations where they're manipulating someone for the long haul or the long run, they're not going to be happy, because they know, because they're already stuck in a pattern of manipulating people to get what they want, and they get addicted to the manipulation. They get addicted to the abuse. They get addicted to the adrenaline rush that they're getting. So even if they get what they want, their adrenaline is gonna keep going. It doesn't stop. So even if they get to where they want, the adrenaline is gonna keep going, and then they're gonna find themselves doing things that are low vibrational again. And then the people that are around them are going to have to deal with that shit. And then they're going to have to live with people and be around people who know who they really are, but they feel like they're caught up with this person for many reasons, maybe marriage, finances. This person doesn't even love the narcissist, and the narcissist knows this person doesn't love them, and the narcissist adrenaline will rush, and sometimes they'll even expose themselves. It's like they'll start self-sabotaging. And some of them, they'll just, they'll sit around looking miserable, and they want to fool you with fucking pictures online that they're happy because they're celebrating their birthdays with their families, but the wife don't fuck with them because she feel like I married this person and they lied to me. They made it seem like they were going to support me and I was going to stay at home. They were going to work. And instead I ended up working the whole marriage, and they're just sitting at home looking stupid, right? So, and what's crazy, instead of them appreciating the people that are still working hard so that they can have a roof over their head, they hate these people. They feel like they start reminiscing about old relationships. They start reminiscing about, things that they did, and then they like to live in the past. They're with these people and they're living in the past. They're getting off on what they did to others. They start getting into a lot of weird, addictions that you might not be aware of, gambling, sex addictions, and so on, so forth, or whatever. But this is why I say they want to be a part of your world, but technically they're not even supposed to be anywhere around you. It's like, have you ever came across people that they assume things about you that aren't true, and you can see it clear now because you've been around narcissists who try to tell you who you are, so now you can see it clear? Or like certain people try to, start arguments with you over disagreements and things like that, and you're like, why would I argue with someone over a disagreement? It doesn't make sense. And then sometimes when people want to go against what your beliefs or how you think, you're basically thinking to yourself, there's no point on even talking to this person because we're living in two different realities, and they can only perceive things from based on who they are as a person and what they've been around. So we live in two totally different worlds, and certain people, you don't even want to be their friends. You're like, I don't want to be this person's friend. I don't want to be around this. But we're different. We don't get along. It's like being around females who are out sleeping around with different men, and you're like, I don't want to be hanging around with these type of women that are just, throwing themselves the first day they meet somebody. Like, I don't want to be around these type of people. They're living in another reality. I'll never, we're just not the same. It's not even judging them. It's just, we're not the same. We're not in the same reality. So there's no point. There's no point. But because of the narcissist generational curse, they're trying to force themselves. They hate their lives. They hate themselves, no matter how confident it's the confidence game. It's who can break who's more confident, right? But there's a difference between confidence and delusional. And sometimes, yeah, you do gotta become a little delusional to get where you want, but you can't stay stuck in the delusion. Who raised you, So I saw this, I'm picking up on what the uncle was saying, and I was kind of like, that's jacked up. He didn't even tell me about the money. And I could see it in the uncle's face. And he kind of reminded me of like my uncle, right? He kind of gave me like my uncle vibes. Because that's something my family would do. Like my family, they read people really good. So I could tell that he already had the narcissist down packed. That's why he said what he said in front of me. Oh, did he offer you any money? Because in his mind, that's the right thing to do, right? To help someone who has helped you. Because even if we're not together, even if we break up, it's good to have people on your side, even if you break up. This is how the uncle's thinking, because he's an OG, he's older. He's thinking, if you look out for her, she'll look out for you. She'll be there for you. And the narcissist is so arrogant that they're like, she's going to be there for me regardless. Any bitch that's around me is going to be there for me. They're arrogant. They're arrogant, but the uncle knows that there's not a lot of good people. So they're looking at it like, you know, this is an investment. People are investments sometimes. The uncle's looking at it like, if you break up, this person has been your friend, first of all, because they're here helping you make some money, even if they don't get anything themselves. So he's thinking to himself, this girl really cares about you. She don't care. She just wants you to get better. She wants you to have money in your pocket. You keep saying all these sob stories about yourself. She's obviously a good person, right? Just like I'm being a good person to you to help you get some money. And if someone is putting you in a position where they're blessing you to get some money, you should bless someone. And who better else to bless than the person that's helping you get blessed by another person? That's how blessings get passed around, regardless of narcissism and all these freaking terminologies that we have for people. Even if the uncle's a narcissist himself, oh, the uncle, oh, he don't want to put nobody in position, oh, he does this, he's that, oh, he's greedy, oh, he does, but he's not obligated to do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the narcissist be mad at people almost like people owe them something. It's almost scary. But I'm thinking to myself, like, why can't the narcissist see what I see and what his uncle sees? Because I'm looking at the uncle like he sees something, I see something, and I'm thinking, well, maybe if I keep being good to the narcissist, maybe he's just really down on his luck. Maybe if I just keep being good to this person, they'll realize to appreciate good people, right? But no, the narcissist literally targets good people because of that generational curse. They can't snap out of that spell. Why? Because their parents did the same shit. They didn't appreciate their parents or the shit that people did for them. So how can they appreciate anything, right? How can they snap out of that reality if they can't, if they don't want to change? See, he's aware of it. He's aware of the generational curse, but he keeps thinking he can manipulate his way because he thinks he knows everything. He's studying people's traumas, but he's not studying how people got out of these traumas. And even when he studies how hard people had to work to get out of these traumas, he belittles it. He makes it seem like, oh, you could have done it a different way. You could have done it my way. But motherfucker, you ain't did nothing to have anyone look up to you. That's crazy. Right? So then the uncle basically, after he realizes like the narcissist didn't give her no money and he's probably not going to give her no money, what's crazy is the narcissist, narcissists are weird when it comes to other men, other narcissist men, because he was attached to his brother. It was like he was emotionally connected to his brother. So that little money he made, it's like, I want to go and I want to have a drink with my brother and have some time with him. It's like they get obsessed over other men because other men are stuck in that same generational curse that they're in. So they connect to other men who are like them. They respect men who are like them, but they don't respect the men who were in that generational curse and they worked themselves out of that curse. And then they'll say, oh, and then they'll talk bad about those men that got out of that generational curse. Oh, he's a simp. Oh, his wife takes advantage of him. And really, him and his wife are helping each other out. And that's how they're making it work. That's why they have nice shit. Because there's loyalty, something you don't know nothing about. Oh, I'm loyal. I'm loyal if you pay me. I'm loyal if you're doing something for me. These people got it fucked up, for real. Then, the uncle, he offered to buy us breakfast. He's like, let's eat breakfast. And you know what the narcissist said? He said, oh, I can't right now, or we're about to go do something, but maybe we could do breakfast another day, all because he didn't want me to get nothing out of it. And the uncle was insisting. He's like, come on, it's not going to take a long time. And what's crazy is that there were a lot of times, you know, where if someone was being nice to me, someone who he was connected to was being nice to me, he was trying to draw me away. Or he would talk bad about me, probably behind my back, so when people would be around me and they got a different perspective on me, and they started to see, like, that's fucked up what you're doing, it made him feel stupid. So he's like, oh, I gotta get you out of here because you're gonna make me look like the bad guy. And it's crazy because no matter how much he tried to make people attack me, my tears were real. My tears were real, and people knew they was real. And that's why he didn't get no respect for what he did to me, because when you're crying and you're shedding tears for someone, people know you really love that person, you know. But it was moments like that where, like, he'll just be selfish, greedy. It was another time where his cousin, you know, he basically, the narcissist made up a business venture. It was crazy. The narcissist made up a business venture with his cousin, and in order to do this business venture, they had to have the whole setup, right? They had the whole setup at his cousin's house, and basically he was saying that he basically didn't want to compensate his cousin for the full price of what he's worth, because he felt like, I came up with the idea, I'm the one who knows how to do this shit, you know, but I need you because you work in finances, you work in this, you have, you know, you have the big house, your house is paid off, we could do everything here, your house is big enough for us to do these things. So he wanted to use his cousin, and then he says, oh, I'm not, you know, after this business deal, I'm not doing no more business with him because he wants me to give him money, because, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be doing everything at his house, and he's going to be supplying some of this stuff. So he's basically saying, oh, you know, this is my hustle, this is my business idea. But it's really fucked up, because he's sitting here saying that rich people, right? Oh, they got, and, you know, people help them, people this, people that, making excuses. But guess what? What person is gonna want to invest in your business and not get nothing out of it, or not get what they deserve or profit from it? And how can you get mad at the people who put money into your business venture? How can you be mad at them for wanting something out of it? How can you be mad at them for having more than you? Basically, what he was saying was, you know, he got more money than me. He got his own house. He got this, he that. I'm just someone that's trying to get up. I'm trying to be on his level. But he's an investor. You don't got the tools. You don't have the keys, Sway. You don't have the keys, Sway. So I'm sitting here like, that's weird, right? Then he does another business venture with his own brothers. And I don't mean to put the narcissist business out there. Y'all don't even know him, but this is what I realized from my generational curse, because we connected through trauma, right? We connected through trauma. The only difference is that this experience woke me up to consciousness, and it gave me a choice, and I know I had to make a choice so that I could break that generational curse, because I realized I had to go through it to understand it, so that I can so that I can look out for my family, so that I could be better than them, right? You want to be better than your family and your parents. You want to be better. That's the whole point. The narcissist is mad at you because your family is handing shit down to you that they've worked generations to get. That is insane. You're mad because you feel like I got the head start you didn't get. But then anybody that's trying to help you or give you knowledge, you think you're smarter than them because you feel like you can manipulate them. So just because you're manipulative, you think you're smarter, right? And anything that person tells you, you feel like, no, you don't got the answers. But it's really you who don't got the answers, right? Where was I at? So what I also realized was when he did, a business venture with his own siblings. Remember I tell you, he got a brother he's really close to. He got other brothers, but he got a brother that it's his flying monkey, his enabler. They're like, you would think they're in a fucking relationship. He'll wake up in the morning and call this person. This person knows all their dirt, everything, all the narcissistic tactics. They both like to play the victim. What I will say about his brother is that I feel like he got a little bit more common sense than the narcissist, but then he enables the narcissist. He will go along with the narcissist bullshit, even if he knows it's wrong. Even if he do got a little bit more common sense, he will go along with the BS just because it's a bro code, right? And that's where his brother is fucking up at. And that's why his brother is never going to be shit either. And that's why his brother is where he's at. Because he's following the narcissist, cheat code too. And then they think everyone's jealous of them. It's weird. And then they get mad when people with a lower vibration, they like to be around people with lower vibrations, and then they want to get mad when people from lower vibrations mimic them because they're learning from them because they're on a lower level. So the reason the narcissist feels entitled is because they already know it's people on lower levels than they are, like drug addicts, crackheads. So they feel more entitled than certain people because they know certain people can't come back from certain situations, or it's very hard for them to break certain generational curses of homelessness or drugs or whatever. So they're entitled, right? And then they come around you into your world with that same entitlement and wonder why they can't fit in. So they study you, the good person, because they're like, if I could study you and figure out tools about you and your family, I could be better, right? So the same people that they hate, who they feel are above them secretly, they feel like they're better than them, but they're secretly hateful for what those people have, And they talk big shit. Oh, narcissists in high places, they're so entitled. Poor me. But they walk around with that same entitlement to people lower than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not happy where they're at in life. They're not happy. You should just be happy wherever you're at in life, period. Because if you're not happy where you're at in life, you're not going to be happy anywhere else. That's what I learned. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned. If you can learn to be happy with your reality, then you can go into any reality being happy and being who you are and not trying to force yourself to fit into anything. And that's what's actually, that energy is what's going to draw you into other realities, is because people aren't going to feel like you're trying to con them and take advantage of them to replace them. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to give off that vibe like you're trying to cheat your way into someone's reality, because you're happy with your own reality. But the narcissist isn't happy. That's why they gotta lie, steal, cheat, and do all this weird stuff that a normal person wouldn't do. Like, when you're in your own reality and the narcissist isn't with you anymore, like in this present moment, I don't have anxiety. I don't have like, I'm not stressed out. I'm not like, the narcissist just gives off this energy, like this blood sucking energy. I can't explain it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like this just intrusive energy, and people feel it no matter, even if the narcissist puts on a mask with people, for some reason, they always go back to where they started, and then they're like, I don't know what I did wrong. They don't they know that there's gonna be a point in time where people don't like them. And I'm gonna say this because that's what the narcissist would say. He would say, I don't know why people don't like me, but they like me at first and then they don't like me, and I don't even be doing nothing to them. And I understand, because when you get out of the narcissist world and you're trying to adapt, trying to find yourself again and be better, really, the narcissist instills a lot of bad habits that you got to break. And they came from those bad habits, or the way of looking at things came from them. They instilled those things that weren't there. And then you gotta, it's like the healing keeps going, and you gotta keep breaking that curse, because you'll have that curse on you even when they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So then you start to understand, like, yeah, there comes a point in time that even with me, I feel like people switch on me. That hate comes out of them, the jealousy comes out of them. But you as an empath, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is, and you know that you can't argue with these people. You can't give them any fuel. So that's what you learn. So this is why you will go back to where you started, which is, you might feel like, hey, you're backtracking, but you're not backtracking because you're someone with a plan. You know what I'm saying? Just like you went back, 30 steps back to figure out your generational traumas, and then you went 100 steps forward, and then you just kind of stuck for a little bit because you got to break even more bad habits that this person instilled. And you basically got to get rid of the narcissist voice in your head, the way they think, because it didn't come from you. But it also helps to know how the narcissist thinks so that you don't do what they do, right? That's what's going to help you, move forward in your life. You gave the narcissist tools so that they can break their generational trauma, but you will see that they'll leave. They'll discard you very arrogantly. They'll act like you didn't do nothing for them. They'll laugh in your face because they feel like they used you and got away with it. And you'll see, no accountability. They'll move on to another supply. So that right there gives you enough information to know that they have not broken that generational curse, meaning that they can pretend like everything is good, but for the long run, they're going to end up back where they started. And by the time they end up right where they started, enough time will pass by that you'll be over them and you'll understand the character they had to play in your life, and how that character doesn't exist anymore. And whatever new version of them, comes forward to you, you can't look back. So you also learn that when people cross you the way the narcissist did, you can't look back. You learn that from being around these people, so that you could have boundaries and respect yourself, because they bring death, they bring disease and destruction in your life. And they never come back because they're remorseful. And why would, if someone has to pay for their crime, the narcissist feels like, if I have to pay for my crime, what's the point on coming back to apologize? Or, if I come back and I act remorseful, or I act like I want to be with you, that'll be really dumb of you to take me back, because, the narcissist, they can't be around people when they feel like they're getting karma for something. They don't want to be around you, because who the fuck want to go around, have karma for something that they did, and then be in front of the person that they did wrong to, you know, the narcissist is just going to piss them off, and it's going to make them feel like they need to exploit you more. You know what I'm saying? That's why every time they come back in your life and they act remorseful, they'll exploit you again, because it's in their bloodline. It's something that it's part of that curse, right? It's part of that curse. That adrenaline is saying, you know, hurt them more, hurt them. It's their fault you're going through this karma, hurt them more. So the narcissist will even feel like it's just best to stay away from you and not give you closure. And because they're going to have to pay for what they did either way. And they don't want you around because they don't want you to laugh at them. They don't want you to look down on them, you know, and so forth, right? Or they feel like you might end up doing something to them, right? Because you might come to the awareness that they were playing you for months and years, right? So they feel like you might do something to them. So even if you tell them, you know, that you love them or you forgive them, they don't know what real love and forgiveness is. So you're wasting your time. They haven't made it to that. They haven't made it to your level. They want to downplay you, but they haven't made it to your level. They can't humble themselves the way you can. They can't take accountability the way you can. That's why you're on another level than them. They were never on your level because they can't do basic things that they should be able to do, or fake. They can't even fake it for too long. You know what I'm saying? They can't even fake it. This person is sick. It's a disease, a generational disease with them. You know? So they run away from, they fear that generational curse, and they keep, instead of doing the right thing, they fear it so much that they keep repeating it. And they even self-sabotage, do drugs, drink, whatever the case, right? So I realized that with them, it's like they constantly, every time they were put in a place where they were doing business with someone and someone was investing in their business, they wanted the investors not to get anything back. That's a whole con artist right there. You know, like, for someone to invest in you and then you don't pay them back, or you don't want to give them that's a con. And you're mad at people because you're expecting people to just give. So he even went into business with his own sibling, and because he felt he was closer to one sibling and not the other one, he basically started getting mad because narcissists are so jealous that they might need you, or they might feel like they don't really need you. But in this situation, it's like he felt like because he's closer to one of his brothers, he felt like, oh, my other brother is trying too hard to fit in with us, and like we really should be running this business just us two, like he shouldn't even be involved. But because his brother that he's close to was actually, he got along with his other brother, he didn't get along with him because I guess they had fights or something happened with them in the past, right? So he had a lot of hate towards his brother, but he felt like he was the bigger person because he felt like, my brother betrayed me, but I still be talking to him. I'm even doing business with him. But in the midst of doing business, okay, you could say, hey, I don't really like my brother. We don't really get along. I forgive him because we're family and we got to be around each other and stuff like that. And then my brother, who I'm close to, talks to him, and he doesn't really want to pick sides, but him and I are closer to each other than you and him. It was like this jealousy, like he wanted his brother all to himself. Like, we just want to be business partners. And he even wanted to live with his brother. Like, he wanted him and his brother to live together. And I'm thinking to myself, we're supposed to be making, this is like in the beginning of our relationship. I'm thinking like we should be making plans to move in together, and he's making plans to move in with his brother. So that was red flag, of course. But At the time too, I had a lot going on, so I wasn't really looking forward to trying to like move in with a boyfriend, right? This was like early on. I felt like the narcissist was being the bigger person in a way because he was getting along with his brother, even though he didn't really like him. But the more I got to know his brother or be around his other brother, I realized that his brother didn't carry that same hate that the narcissist displayed for him behind closed doors, right? And he's kind of like, oh, everybody's being fake or whatever, right? But it was to the point where I would see the same brothers that he would talk so much shit about would do certain things. Like sometimes, like if they would walk in and offer him stuff, or sometimes like if one of his brothers came up on a lot of money or something, he would come in and be like, oh, here's $100. And I'll be like, shit, I wish my brother would just give me $100. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do that, you know? So it'll be moments like that. So I would be like, regardless of whatever y'all been through, like from what I've seen, they've showed enough love for you to at least do business without you letting hate overtake your spirit like that. You know what I'm saying? You're so mad because the three of you guys are working together, making money together. You feel like the brother you don't get along with is being selfish, or he wants to run it. You're basically competing for control, and that's why you're mad. That was the real reason why you're mad. Then you're looking down on him. Oh, all his friends are low vibrational. I like to hang around rich people. I don't like hanging around, dudes in the hood and all this stuff. But it would be times where the narcissist would be having fun with them. So I would be confused, like, you're hanging around him and his friends, like, or like his best friend, the narcissist's best friend was friends with all his brothers. And sometimes what I notice is that he, his best friend, ended up being more close with his brother that he didn't like than him. And he would still come back around and he'll be like, oh, my best friend is here. We're really not talking on good terms, but he's chilling with my brother. So you got a whole bunch of people that don't like each other, but they're doing business together. They're faking it. They're doing the same shit that people in high places do. So you're judging my family, but your family is on a lower level. And they're doing the same thing. They're talking to people. They're wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you guys aren't able to elevate yourselves financially because you guys hate on each other. That's the difference between you and my family. And the generations in my family and their culture is that they don't hate on each other the way you and your family hates on each other, and the generations of your family hate on each other. That's the difference. So that's what I realized. I was like, oh, and yeah, narcissists in my family, yeah, they can get jealous, they can get envious and fuck everything up for you too when you're close to success. Which makes it even worse because they're sneaky, and then they don't show you the hate until the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll pull one over on you, where in these low grade narcissists, you see the hate before you see the destruction before it happens, and it just plays out faster, and then you ain't getting nowhere. Then the narcissist wanted to do business with me, and he's telling me up front, like, to have his back and all this stuff, but basically I shouldn't really expect anything of it. Basically he wants to be able to use me like he want to use everybody else, but he wants to be able to benefit from it more than me, right? And I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'd rather just not do business with you because I already saw how you carried business with other people. And I can see why nobody really want to help you, because you don't want to help yourself, because you think you're smarter than everyone. You want to be in control. You want to have the answers to everything without having the money for everything, you know. And then if you do have the money, you feel like because you're wasting your hard-earned money, you feel like you got to compensate using the money that you worked hard for. You feel like, oh, now I got to con other people. Now I got to get other people to buy me food. I got to get you want to basically compensate your hard work for your goals. This is your goals. This is your generational curse that you're trying to break. So the money that you do use to break that generational curse, when you do finally work hard to get your money and do the things you need to do, you feel like, oh, I'm wasting all this money for my dreams. Now I got to compensate the money that I just spent for my dreams by exploiting women, exploiting whoever I can come across. Whatever I can get out of them, I gotta compensate for investing in my own dreams. That shit sounds crazy. It just sounds crazy. You know, that's why they can't break their generational curse, because anytime they're trying to break it, they start doing things, you know, even with women. They start using their body. They start getting dirty money. They start, you know, doing all the, you know, talking to perverts and, you know, selling themselves out. And then they wonder why they can't break the generational curse and why they're running on a hamster wheel. And they're like, oh, I done touched so much money. The narcissist can always tell you, I done had a lot of money. But you're wondering, how come you always end up in the same location where you started? Right? Because they can't break the generational curse, because they keep doing things that are making their generation look bad. You know, like, you're just making your generation look bad. Everything your family worked hard for, you like throwing it in the trash. Like, it took decades and decades to build this, and you're just throwing it in the trash. You want the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? And then you're investing so much time on getting the easy way out that when shit goes wrong, you don't have a backup plan, because you spent so much time conning men and conning people out of money and doing things that you didn't do none for yourself, you know, for the long run. There was another moment too where the narcissist, you know, when I met them, they were, you know, working with, they had this little business venture with a friend too, you know. And that's why I really fell for them at first, because I felt like, you know, this person's a hustler like me, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I felt like they were a hustler like me, until I started to see like they weren't really what they preached. Especially when I would be in certain situations where, like, I could be in a parking lot trying to sell you something, you know what I'm saying? The narcissist would think that's silly. Like, oh, that's silly. You're just walking to strangers. I'm like, yeah, like, the hell, you ain't gonna make nothing happen if you don't, right? When you hustling, you're just not shy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, to me, it was like, yeah, I got people skills. I can sell anything, right? But that's when I started to notice that every business venture, you know, I didn't really pay attention to it at first, because I felt like he was a victim, right? Because that's how he made it seem, until he crossed me. And then that's when I was like, oh no, he's greedy, he's selfish, he's trying to make me, you know, put into his business ventures, but then he thinks I'm not supposed to really get anything from it, or I'm not supposed to question him, or he feels like, you know, I could treat you a certain way, or I don't, I'm expecting some type of commitment. I'm like, okay, if I do this, you gotta make this type of commitment. You know, he didn't want to make the, he didn't want it to be transactional. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just wanted me to be a giver, a lover, you know, and that's where people go wrong. Because you got narcissists out here that will fool you, and they'll say, oh, it's not about money, it's about love. Oh, you know, you're supposed to be loyal to me, you're supposed to have faith in me. That is dumb. That is like the dumbest thing. I've already went through that. That is dumb. You know, and that's why narcissists, a lot of them are transactional. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't want to feel played. So the moment that you start making it transactional, you're going to see that most narcissists don't even want to be around you, you know, or they're going to, or you could be around, even with friends. I started noticing, even with friends, I had a friend, I already knew she was like a Jezebel spirit. So anytime she would be around me, or I would do something nice for her, I'd make sure that she compensated me back, or I made sure that it was equal, right? I'm like, I'm making sure it's equal. I didn't even bring it up to her, and she says, you don't have to keep track of what we do for each other. And that's when I knew, like, oh, the bitch is keeping track, because I am keeping track. I'm doing it on purpose because I want to know if I could trust you. And the more I got to know you, I'm like, I can't trust you, and you're the Jezebel spirit, and you do certain things that I just would never do. So they do definitely keep track of everything that they do for you and what you do for them. And they want it to get to a point where they stop breadcrumbing you and you just start doing everything for them. So that's what I noticed, even with the Jezebel spirit, and like female friends that were Jezebels that I would be around because I thought that they were on my level, right? Beautiful women, very attractive. I felt like they were on my level, but they weren't on my level. Yeah, they were attractive, but they were on a lower level. There's certain generational curses that they haven't broke. They're living their parents' life. You're stuck living in an apartment that you're paying month to month. Now you're having children, you're getting child support. Now you're doing all this. Is how you're going to maintain your life for the rest of your life, because that's what your mother did. Your mother never bought a house. She never invested in you, and she never broke any curses so that you can break that curse. You're literally repeating the same lifestyle your parent had, and you're like, oh, I'm working. I've been working all my life. Oh, I didn't come from a family with money, because your parent didn't break a generational curse. And now, instead of you seeing everything your parent did wrong and not doing what they did and having children with different men, you're doing the same shit. And that's why you can't break that generational curse. And you're not even aware of it. You're not even aware of it. You know what I'm saying? You're not even aware of it. So I realized even some women in my life, I would be like, oh, you know, certain friends, oh, she's, you know, beautiful, you know, and I would think, you know, they would be so confident, right? They're around me, they're confident. I had a female friend that was like, you know, she was gorgeous, and she would say things like, oh, I don't get along with a lot of females, you know, but I get along with you. A lot of females, you know, they get intimidated because, you know, she's pretty and things like that. And, you know, putting herself up there, sticking her nose in the air, right? And the more I got to know her, I realized she was never on my level. She just used her looks to come into my life. See, the Jezebel spirit plays the same game, because she's also going through the generational curse. Her family don't have shit. She don't have nothing but her looks. So she don't know how to get out of the generational curse besides using her looks and her body. And she'll even flirt with other women. You know, she'll even flirt with other women. And it was times where I almost felt like she was hitting on me. And I'm like, I know she's not gay, but they do things so that you can like them, because they don't know how else to be around you without you noticing how low vibrational they really are. So they try to make you feel like, oh, it's a lot of girls that want to be my friend, but they can't be around me because they're intimidated by me because I'm in control, I'm in this and that. They're boosting themselves up, but in actuality, that's why men are using them, dogging them out, and they're beautiful and attractive, but for some reason they can't keep a man. They're always with a different man. They're in love all the time, and you're like, how long you been with this guy? Oh, 3 months, 6 months. And you're like, what? You're in love? Didn't you say the same thing about the last guy? And it's because they can't break that generational curse. And if you pay attention to their mothers or their parents, you'll see that their parents probably had a lot of kids by different men too. You see that their dad wasn't in their life. So that's the perfect supply for a narcissist. Like the narcissist that I attracted, that would have been his perfect supply. He would be attracted to someone like her because they're on the same level. They came from the same lifestyle, the same principalities. They have the same traumas on a deeper level than him and I, right? That would be probably his first choice. But he knows, hey, I can't get nowhere with this person because they're not going nowhere. They just have looks. But this other person, they have more. Their family, her generation has worked hard to be where they're at, right? So they're coming for you. They always feel like the grass is greener on the other side. That's why you're the new supply and they're the old supply, right? So even with this friend, I realized, I was like, this person is low budget, no matter how attractive they are, because I just remember we had like a picnic. It was a lot of kids and family, her family, and the kids, wanted ice cream. There was like an ice cream man, and I remember I paid for all the kids' ice creams. And she was acting like, I could feel her energy was kind of like, why would you buy the kids ice cream? Like you're dumb. Like almost like you're dumb for buying the kids ice cream, but I wasn't doing it for her. I was literally, Jezebel spirits want you to believe like, they feel like they're taking advantage of you. Like the Jezebel spirit, from the Jezebels that's been around me, because I've had a lot of Jezebel spirits around me, and they deceive you because of how they look. But you start to see that certain morals are not there. They got a lot of hate, jealousy. They're very egocentric. They don't, you'll give them advice as a woman, but they only take advice from men. Like they only listen. Like if a man was giving them some game, they're going to listen to the man. They're going to listen to every word that man says. That's why a lot of people are fake victims to me, because they won't listen to another woman that's telling you the same information a man will tell you. It's crazy. The Jezebel spirit, she doesn't want any knowledge from another woman because she thinks she's better than all women. It's no true like sisterhood. It's like she only looks up to men, and a lot of times she looks up to men because she might have not had a dad in her life, and I know that because even empaths, we can be in the same situation as a Jezebel spirit. Maybe we didn't have a father in our lives, but we can like look at ourselves. They can't look at themselves, even though they're all in. So that's where, the Jezebel spirit goes wrong, is because there's no sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? The higher level of consciousness that you gain when you're breaking generational curses is that you got to respect everybody. You know what I'm saying? Male and female. And you can't just be living in a world where you're just giving men attention. You're living in the man's world, and then you start acting like the man. You start thinking like the man. And then, you start attracting the type of men you're getting advice from. And a lot of those Jezebel spirits, they look up to narcissist men, and that's why they got the game messed up, because they're taking advice from narcissist men who are jealous haters, who are looking up to men that they can't even be around, men who would just see through them as someone who's just trying to hang on to them and brown nose them. So what I realized with the Jezebel spirit is that they're very jealous, envious of you, and they'll use their looks to befriend you as an empath. You might be someone who, you're studious. You're totally different. You're different from the Jezebel spirit. You're like opposites, but somehow you guys are friends. You're in your books and they're in these streets. And they're making their life seem exciting, but in reality, they wish they were smart like you. They wish they can go to school and be smart like you. They're jealous because they don't have the tools to break the generational curse, and all they have had up until this point is their looks, or being able to overly sexualize themselves to gain attention, to shake their butt on a camera and get attention. That's their only way to get attention. They can't get attention for being smart, for having a business, for going to school, for having education. They don't have those tools, So they become jealous, envious people. And I always remember, like, every time I had problems with women, especially when I was younger with a lot of girls, I realize now that I see all these women and they're all grown up with children, and now I could see them. Now they're exposing their colors. Now if I go on Facebook, they're going to be talking about their baby daddies. They're going to be talking about how their baby daddies ain't shit, right? They're going to be talking about how they're the victim. They're going to be talking about how people have wronged them. They're going to talk about how, this year I'm going to travel more. I'm going to do me. I'm going to love myself. But it's crazy because you pretended like you loved yourself. That's why I said narcissists can't break that generational curse. They're full of shit. That's why they bully you when you're young, because they haven't changed. And the only time they start having a little bit of empathy is when they're going through it. So they'll sit here and bash you, right? They'll bash you about your parenting. They'll bash you about certain things. They'll they'll take your husband from you and destroy your family. But then when they get pregnant and they give birth, now they want to come out and say, oh, shout out to all the women who got to do it on their own. It's so hard, and I just want to celebrate you guys. They do anything to get attention. They want attention from you. The Jezebel spirits wants you to feel sorry for her, but she's not going to tell you she broke families. She did a lot of bullshit, and now because she's having a child, she wants people to feel sorry for her. So guess what? She's not taking accountability for what she's done to others. The only reason she's pretending to have accountability is because she's going through it at the very moment, right? That's why certain men won't feel sorry. They don't know who to feel sorry for. That's why certain men are confused and they'll say, oh, she got what she had coming. That's the kind of guy she wanted. Now she want to go to church and say she feels sorry for other women. But before, you was sleeping with a dog. Right? That's why certain men don't feel sorry for women. But not all women are like the Jezebels. Some women get pregnant and they were good women. Not everyone is a Jezebel, but this is why there's so much confusion in the world. You're like, I don't know who's who. Because a lot of people play the victim, or they'll go online, oh, I just lost a family member. But guess what? They were bullying you, don't even know you, and was fucking with you, making your life hell, ruining your reputation, bothering you, fighting you. all because they don't like you or they don't like the way you look or whatever the case is or whatever. You don't even know why they were attracted to you. But now when it's their turn, they act like, oh, you know, I'm the victim, and they don't even think about what they've done in their life that has led them to that point. They don't even think like, I was a bad person in high school. I did a lot of bad shit in college to people. I was sleeping with women's husbands. They don't think about that. But guess what? Now when they give birth, now they come into awakening. You would think that they will reevaluate their actions and tell themselves, you know, this is the generational curse that I gotta break. And you would think that they would remember the things that they've done to others and say, hey, I'm not a victim, you know. Everything happened for a reason. Maybe I have to go through this because it helped me learn about this or that. No. They act like they're victims. And that's why you will feel sorry for them, just like you felt sorry for the narcissist. But I guarantee you, if you befriend these people, they'll show you that they're low down and they'll act like nothing happened. And I'm saying this because, like I said, I've been around the Jezebel spirit where, you know, they feel like, you know, they're getting over on me, or, you know, other women are jealous of me, and I don't got a lot of female friends. I hang around a lot of guys. They always hit you with those, oh, I hang out with dudes, and a lot of women are intimidated by me because I'm pretty. And next thing you know, they'll do something where they see that your confidence comes from within. They're expecting you to act like other women that they've been around who are, insecure. And when they see that you're not insecure, you'll start to see the Jezebel spirit starts to get mad. They start to get angry. When they start doing things that show that they have no boundaries, and you bring, if you bring up anything that they're doing that is wrong, or if they're sharing stories with you and they're not giving you the full truth, and you know there's missing pieces to the story, and you start trying to put the pieces together, you'll see that all that love and support that they had for you, they liked you because they felt you were that friend that they can always go to. But once you become real and you start telling them the truth and you start holding the mirror in front of them, you're basically showing them how ugly they are on the inside. And that's making them realize, oh, that's why men don't like me, because I'm pretty, but they don't like me for who I am. I should be able to be myself. And now they feel attacked. So so they'll feel like, oh, I don't want to be around that's why I don't have no female friends. But they'll go around men who will say the same shit that you're telling them and respect them. They don't say nothing to them. It's weird. It's weird. It's that generational curse. They can't break it. And I think a part of them knows it's because they didn't have a dad or something. You know what I'm saying? They like attention from men. They start having sex early. Whatever it is, generational curse. They know what's going on and they don't want to break it. They feel like they're smarter. They feel like they can manipulate anyone with their looks, and they don't realize that shit isn't going to fly and work with anyone and everyone. It's only going to work with someone who's low vibrational. And if it's going to work with someone who's low vibrational, guess what? You're not going to be able to break that generational curse, because now you're falling for someone that you shouldn't be falling for. So all that, I woke up, I had a baby, I came to consciousness, oh, support to all the women, it's bullshit. Because you don't even respect how other women think or what other women really went through. You only care because you went through it. And you don't respect what other women got to say. You only respect what men got to say. Because you want to impress them. You want to figure out how to keep them. And you won't ever figure out how to keep them when you don't know yourself and and the generational curse that you have on you. Because the men that you're choosing, they know what generational curse you have upon you. You just can't see it. So the Jezebel goes through the same thing as the empath, where you're, connecting with narcissistic men through trauma. They're hooking up with narcissistic men through trauma too. And then they take advantage of good men because they feel like the good men have it easy. They're like, you have it easy compared to the narcissist men. They have more respect for the narcissist man than a good man, where the empath will learn from a bad man to find a good man, where the Jezebel spirit will go from bad man to bad man to bad man. She'll just keep repeating the same pattern because she don't respect a good man. She won't even know how to keep him because of that venom she got in her. What I noticed too with the Jezebel spirit is that they'll talk down on you, or they'll show you that they don't really respect your opinion, or they just don't respect you as a person. It's like they just want you to be a character in their world, but really you're not even supposed to be in their world, right? And after they feel like they've crossed certain boundaries and they think they're outsmarting you, when they really need you because they know you're a good person. Like I said, I learned from helping the narcissist that he wasn't going to appreciate it when I helped him out of the freeway when his car got stuck. So the same thing happened to the Jezebel in my life. Her car she ended up in a fucking ditch somewhere and called me and showed me a picture of her car in a ditch somewhere and was like, you got AAA, can you please help me? And I was like, no, I don't. I lied to her because I was like, I'm not helping you. I already learned my lesson. People like you don't even appreciate it. And if I need help, you're not going to help me for shit. So that's like me investing into you, into your business. But then you don't want to give me nothing back, and I'm not going for that. Because you already, and I really felt like when she hit me up, it was her karma for fucking with me, to be honest. I was like, that's your karma for trying to put me on the spot in front of people and do some weird shit that I was thinking about, but you probably weren't thinking about it no more because you're a Jezebel and you don't think things through about what you do or say sometimes, but it's on my mind. And I felt like that was her karma, and I was like, I'm not helping you, and I could tell she was kind of like upset, and that's what made me be like, oh, and you're upset too because I don't want to help you, you're a crazy bitch. And with the narcissist too, when their car got stuck on the freeway, a lot of stuff, we had just got into a fight, and then they get into their car just stops on the freeway, and I'm the one that they call on to help. The same people they're fucking over, they're calling to help, and then the people that are fucking over them, they'll do anything and everything for. That's what's crazy. That's why they can't break the generational curse. Because they haven't even learned how to give back to the ones who really there for them. They don't know that someone who is really there for you is more valuable than anybody else. You're a queen. When they're in the presence of you, they're messing with the queen, they're messing with the king, and they don't even see what you are. You're the one with the tools, you're the one they keep coming to. They want all the good parts of you to be in those toxic people that they keep running to. They want everything that you have. They want the person they're in love with, that they're obsessed with, to have all the qualities that you have, but in that person, if that makes sense. They want that person to have your qualities. That's why they keep you around. It's like build a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I get some from you, get some from you. And that's how they balance things out to make themselves feel complete. They're sick people. They're using you for your empathy. They're using you for your goodness. And then on top of that, they don't even appreciate it, and they don't even want to give back to you. They wouldn't even invest in you. They wouldn't even give you your flowers. They wouldn't even give you your flowers if you died. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I realized that, that's why a lot of people can't break those generational curses. And then sometimes the empath, you got to break that generational curse, by doing something about the circumstances that these narcissists leave you in. You can't stay stuck just and give up just because that's what they want you to do. It shouldn't matter how long it's going to take, as long as you're making the steps to get there. So you realize what's important in the end. You realize that, you might not connect to a lot of people, but the people that you do connect to are worth connecting to. You know what I'm saying? When you do connect to people, it's you're not going to force yourself on those people. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be authentic relationships. The more you force yourself on people, you already, and you guys have two different perspectives, you realize you're never going to see eye to eye, because most people just want control. They want control over, just the narrative. They want to control the narrative, So what I realized was my own generational curse. I realized the narcissist generational curse. I realized why they can't get ahead. I realized that even when they try to get ahead, that energy just keeps pulling them back. They got to keep going through karma. I've never seen anybody go through so much karma as much as I've seen narcissistic people go through karma. And I feel like when empaths are involved with narcissists, you're getting their karma. Because it seems like when you leave, yeah, you go through bad shit like any other normal person. Yeah, your car can break down. Yeah, you can lose a job and so forth. But it just seems like when you're involved with narcissistic people, it seems like they always got a story to tell. It's like commercial. It's just a mirage. They always got a story to tell, and they don't really have true confidence. It's like the times that we're living in, before I end this video, because I know it's really long, but I did want to go over this to, give you guys some insight on why the narcissist is like, they're stuck in a world that you can't snap them out of it. They're stuck in their way. And why they keep thinking they keep pointing the fingers at other people. Oh, they got a better life. It's, they put the blame on others, and then they expect others to compensate them for just being themselves and just for what they have. It's really scary. It's very sick. But we live in times where people are like competing, like who's more soulless, me or you? Who has more confidence? Oh, you can say whatever you want to me and I don't feel a thing. We're living in days where like people are competing to see who has less empathy, who's more narcissistic, who's going to cave in, who's going to cry, who's going to take things personal, who's going to be quiet and act like they're unbothered by what you're saying. Everyone is playing this game like they're so confident. And they'll even talk shit about other people. Look at me, I'm beautiful, I'm pretty, you're jealous of me. And they're playing this game like they love themselves. But all they are is pimps, hoes, panhandlers, and people that are lazy, and people that are just manipulative. And guess what? It's not going to lead them to nothing. They're going to have to pay for all of that. And if they want to break that curse, they're going to have to do something to break that curse. And most of the time when they do something to break that curse, guess what? They make it into they break that, they try to break that curse by forcing themselves into other people's worlds. And even when people give them opportunities, hey, you want to change your life, you want to break your generational curse, just do this, just do that. They start getting above themselves, thinking they're smarter than that person. They don't even realize that person is testing them. They're testing their loyalty and things like that. And then what's crazy, you got certain narcissists, they understand that certain men and women are testing their loyalty. They're testing them to see if they're good people. And I'm telling you, because I noticed that when I was with the narcissist, they gained a lot of inside information. I gave them, they discarded me, came back, I forgave them, to the point where, they would just, it's like every time they came home from work, they always had stories. They always felt like people didn't like them. They were always overthinking. And I was the person that's like, stop overthinking. Everybody's working. Everybody's stressed out. Don't take things personal. I'm the one that was always giving him words of encouragement. You know what I'm saying? So what I noticed with them is that, just like I said, when I met them, they were in a business venture with their friend. They were saying, oh, he ain't shit, he ain't got nothing. And then years later, he bumped into that same friend who had that hustler mentality. And now that hustler mentality that you thought, hey, he's not doing nothing. He's selling hot dogs and snacks on the corner. And now he got his own house. Now he got bigger businesses, and things like that. But you got into it with him because you got sick of working with him because you felt like he wasn't paying you enough, but you didn't bring nothing to the table. You got to be around this person, eat free food, and you didn't appreciate that person and the tools, the drive, the energy they were giving to you. You didn't appreciate any of it. And now when you see them years later, they're successful, and you really can't say nothing but, oh, I ain't even gonna lie, I was immature back then. I ain't even gonna lie, I'm happy for him. That's my dude. I'm happy for him. No, you're not. No, you're not. Talk mad shit. That's what I'm saying. The narcissists, they just like bringing people down. And then if you're doing well, you're doing good, all of a sudden they respect you. All of a sudden they try to act like they're giving you compliments, when in reality, they really, a part of them, they might even keep tabs on you because they feel like you weren't supposed to make it. They'll smile in your face and say, oh, I'm happy for you, and act like they're good people because they're hoping that you'll give them another opportunity. They're conniving people. They also learn through the empath, so they realize, oh, I gotta keep acting like I'm humble. I gotta keep acting like I'm a good person. They're acting, they're actors. You get it? They're actors. They feel like everybody acting. They feel like, oh, I made it to your world, but I'm only acting to be good because I know you're acting to be good too. You're a narcissist like me, but you're on a bigger scale. That narcissist knows how that lower grade narcissist is thinking, and they're putting them through tests, and the narcissist gets to the point where they realize that people put them through tests, and they fake it as long as they can until something comes up, a distraction, or that person brings a woman around on purpose just to see how the narcissist is going to behave around that woman. Now the narcissist is acting like, oh, I know you like him because he's rich, but you really want to be with me. I know you find me attractive. You're smiling at me. And you know what I'm saying? I'm going to act like I don't give a damn about you. I'm going to act like I'm not even looking at you. I'm going to act like I don't even think you're pretty. Because I feel like my friend is a sucker to even be with you. I'm not going to give you attention so my friend can think I'm loyal to him. Everything is like an act, and they're just creating scenarios and delusions in their own head. And when people start, and what's crazy, a narcissist is like, I did everything perfect. I didn't even look at his girl. Why won't he mess with me anymore? Because people could see through that. The energy don't lie. And the narcissist, they're back where they started. And now they're mad more than ever because they can't break that generational curse. So what do? They go back to old supplies. They start circling around. They come to you, oh, I was thinking about you. I feel bad. I just want to say sorry for what I did to you. Or they'll just, they might not contact you. They might contact someone else. But you better believe that victimhood is not going nowhere. And then they also know that us as empaths know that they fake the victim. So they'll be the first ones to tell you, oh, I'm not even going to act like a victim. I don't victimize. I don't need no one to feel sorry for me. I'm just do it on my own. I'm going to just do it on my own. So they play mind games too because they know how you think. They know how you think. But trust me when I say this person is under a spell. They're still in that generational curse, and they're trying to manipulate their way for you to open that door, and they're not even on your fucking level. They never were on your level. They're delusional. Some of them think that their looks are going to get them there, and it might get them there, but because they don't feel empathy, because they don't appreciate good people, they need constant advice from people who are smarter than them. That's why they have friends and narcissist men around them to go and get advice from, because they're always fucking shit up. They need people around to talk to because they always mess things up. That's why they can't be alone. So you have to think about it. Why would people that don't really like you, don't really mess with you, want to be around you for months and years catfishing you? It's because they can't get out of that world that they can't stand. They can't stand being in that world. They can't stand it to the point that they're attacking any good person like a wild animal that comes near them. How you gonna bite the hand that feeds you? That's crazy. Anyway, I know I've been rambling on for a long time, y'all, but like I said, I can talk about this generational curse thing for a very long time. And I'm just touching the layers of it. So you know what I'm talking about. I'm just touching the layers of it. I'm not getting too deep into the empath generational curse because I want to make it more about what I learned from my generational curse and why the narcissist is the way they are, and why a lot of times you get stuck with these people and they're on lower levels than you. And then when you do meet a narcissist from a higher level than you, they're living in maybe they got more money than you, their family comes from more money than you. You might think he's Prince Charming. You might think he's Prince Charming, and he's gonna bring hell to you. So you better be careful trying to get with people based off of what they have, and be okay with your own reality and working your way out of those generational curses. Because hey, you got narcissists lower than you trying to drag you down. You got narcissists, in higher places trying to drag you down for fun. For their own entertainment. Like, they do it on a regular for their own entertainment. Because their way of charming is on another level. Their way of finessing is grander than anything you've ever seen. Their way of controlling their anger and controlling their manipulation tactics are more undetected or disguised as jokes, and they're not jokes. So I'm sending you guys lots of love, light, peace in your healing, If you guys enjoyed this topic, don't forget to like, share, comment. And if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to support my channel by booking a session with me, my booking information is always on the description. Just give me 24 hours to respond to you. And as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love. Talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.